Wife!
Do you remember what happened on Friday and where the hell we are today?
Well, we just got done reading Ezekiel Chapter 40 on Friday.
We did.
And in that chapter, God helped Ezekiel time travel, apparently, and took him to the future where this temple was going to be built again. Mm-hmm. The Jerusalem temple, the temple.
The temple.
God's home.
The holiest of holies or what the fuck ever.
And there were lots of measurements and cubits. And,
sure as fuck were.
And palm trees and all kinds of shit. Mm-hmm. So that was what happened in the last chapter. I did see a quick snippet. Apparently, the temple was not rebuilt to the specifications in Ezekiel's vision. Huh. So I just my 2 cents there, and I didn't dig into that a whole lot. So take that for what it's worth on my off the cuff comment there.
Okay,
but it is interesting that maybe it didn't follow the exact word of God. So
oopsie,
Anyway, that was Ezekiel chapter 40.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that today we're getting into
Ezekiel chapter 41.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, we are hopping right back into Ezekiel chapter 41.
As I like to call it, Ezekiel, so that everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yes.
I got it.
You are a jerk. You took it back. This is a continuation of the prophet's vision of the temple.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, remember these final chapters of Ezekiel are all about this
coming back, the rebuilding, the whatever.
This building.
The prophecy of the temple.
Woohoo.
Which may not even be correct.
Right.
So, again, there's a lot of... We'll dig into this more because I am curious myself, but there's a lot of failed prophecies in Ezekiel from what I am gathering.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that it holds so much sway in the Christian community because it's really hard to look at these things and say, yeah, this is the word of God. When I'm like, no, that didn't fucking happen. No, and that didn't fucking happen. That's just odd to me. Mm-hmm. But here we are. We're in Ezekiel.
Yep. All right. So continuing on with the temple building.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Then.
Yeah.
The man brought me, because remember there was a golden man.
The golden guy, who's probably God, maybe.
Or an angel of the Lord or some shit.
Sure, something like that.
Yeah. He brought me to the main hall and measured the jambs. The width of the jambs was 6 cubits on each side.
Those jambs, the width of them is very important, guys.
I prefer jelly. JK. The entrance was 10 cubits wide, and the projecting walls on each side of it were 5 cubits wide. Mm-hmm. He also measured the main hall. It was 40 cubits long and 20 cubits wide. Then he went into the inner sanctuary and measured the jambs of the entrance, each of which was 2 cubits wide.
I see.
And I saw a little note here that is not quite Q&A worthy, but worthy of mentioning nonetheless.
Right.
It said at first in verse 1 that he brought me to the main hall. Okay.
Yeah.
Then in verse 2 or 3? Verse 3, it says he went into the inner sanctuary. So here's the thing. Ezekiel is a priest and a prophet, so he's allowed to go inside the main building.
Yeah.
But he did not go in with the man into the inner sanctuary, the holiest of holies.
Because that was where God resides, right? Mm-hmm. And so he can't go in there.
So, so when it says, then he went into the inner sanctuary...
Do you wonder, okay, so somebody has to build this, right? Mm-hmm. Is God going to build that inner sanctuary?
I don't know.
I mean, I would feel really weird if I was a construction guy and no one's allowed. How are we going to do this, guys?
Build it from the outside.
Are we going to get killed for building this? Because God's kind of a dick.
You have to build it from the outside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Isn't God just going to furnish it and decorate the inside himself?
Yes.
Okay.
That is exactly what happens.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that it was noted because I would not have recognized that change in wording had it not been pointed out that, he took me here and then he went there.
Got it. Yeah.
So
I do want to
a little just slight change of wording.
Right. I do want to point out because we are in the midst of talking about this temple that is going to be rebuilt in Jerusalem. And it's supposed to be the next iteration, right? He went ahead, I think it was 25 years, right? Like in the vision?
I don't remember.
It was something like that. So regardless, this temple was never built to these specifications. So, I mean, I looked it up just to make sure, because the thing I saw was just like an offhanded little comment, but I looked it up as you were sitting here talking, and this temple was never built to these specifications. There was another temple built, but so these specifications mean absolutely nothing.
Right.
This whole prophecy means nothing because they didn't build it to those specifications. So it's not God's temple. If this is the case, that was never done.
Right.
And
they would just say, yeah, it wasn't done. It's still yet to come.
Yeah,
just
but
like
except that I distinctly remember, I think it was in the last chapter, that they said that God took them forward like 25 years. And I could be wrong about that, but it's something I'd be interested in digging into.
I don't remember that, so.
Right. No, I'd like to see that in the Q&A at the end of the week, but I feel like this is a very, very, very failed prophecy. Again, in Ezekiel. So, sorry. That's all.
Then he went into the inner sanctuary and measured the jambs of the entrance, by himself while I stood outside watching.
Yeah.
Each was 2 cubits wide. The entrance was 6 cubits wide, and the projecting walls on each side of it were 7 cubits wide.
Okay.
Are any of these measurements going into your head?
Not a single one. No.
Like, I'm like, number.
Yeah.
Like, the adults in Charlie Brown.
Yep.
And he measured the length of the inner sanctuary. It was 20 cubits, and its width was 20 cubits across the end of the main hall. He said to me, "This is the most holy place."
The most holy place.
The holiest of holies.
Got it. Okay.
Then he measured the wall of the temple. It was 6 cubits thick, and each side room around the temple was 4 cubits wide. The side rooms were on 3 levels, one above another, 30 on each level. That's a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
That's a big temple.
It is.
There were ledges all around the wall of the temple to serve as supports for the side rooms, so that the supports were not inserted into the wall of the temple.
Okay.
The side rooms all around the temple were wider at each successive level. The structure surrounding the temple was built in ascending stages, so that the rooms widened as one went upward. It's like an upside down pyramid kind of thing.
I guess. Yeah.
Like, that's awfully weird. A stairway went up from the lowest floor to the top floor through the middle floor. I saw that the temple had a raised base all around it, forming the foundation of the side rooms. It was the length of the rod, 6 long cubits.
Okay.
The outer wall of the side rooms was 5 cubits thick. The open area between the side rooms of the temple and the priest rooms was 20 cubits wide all around the temple. Blah, 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 blah. Apologies. We're just getting through this. We say this every time there's a super boring chapter. We're all just, our purpose is to be able to say that we read every word.
Yeah.
So that is what we're doing.
I do find it interesting, though, that with regard to modern technology and the ability to maybe build this temple in the way that it is said that it is being built, that it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't somebody,
anybody,
you would think somebody that was very interested in fulfilling a prophecy would be like, hey, why don't we fucking build this temple? Like,
we have a redone Ark.
Yeah.
Here.
Right.
Like Noah's Ark.
Very, very close to us. It's down in Kentucky. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, that they've redone and, charge a price.
Right, but there was never a prophecy saying that was going to get
That's what I'm saying. That was redone. Makes no sense. The fact that this, a very important thing.
Yeah.
That's, prophecy relies upon has not been.
Hell, maybe like built. The Mormons could do it. Like, that would, like, give them some,
clout with the Christians.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Look, we got that temple over here.
How about those sticks? What you got to say about them now, huh? There were entrances to the side rooms from the open area, one on the north and another on the south. And the base adjoining the open area was 5 cubits wide all around. The building facing the temple courtyard on the west side was 70 cubits wide. The wall of the building was 5 cubits thick all around, and its length was 90 cubits. Blah,
Amazing.
blah, blah,
That's
number,
great.
number,
Yeah.
cubit. Then he measured the temple. It was 100 cubits long, and the temple courtyard and the building with its walls were also 100 cubits long. The width of the temple courtyard... The width?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The width. I was trying to be fun.
No, it may not have come across as able to be understood is all I was saying. So, just making sure it was said the word that it actually was.
The width of the temple courtyard on the east, including the front of the temple, was 100 cubits. Then he measured the length of the building facing the courtyard at the rear of the temple, including its galleries on each side. It was 100 cubits. The main hall, the inner sanctuary, and the portico facing the court, as well as the thresholds and the narrow windows and galleries around the 3 of them. Everything beyond and including the threshold was covered with wood.
Wood. Yeah.
Wood.
Okay.
The floor, the wall up to the windows, and the windows were covered.
You would think that they would mention exactly what kind of wood it was covered with. Like they were very enamored with the cedar from
Lebanon.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Back when they were building the first temple, was it?
I think so.
I think that was the first temple.
Yeah.
So you would think that they might care about the type of timber that was used or the wood that was used.
It's just wood.
In this book, yes.
It's just wood.
Right. Yeah.
In the space above the outside of the entrance to the inner sanctuary and on the walls at regular intervals all around the inner and outer sanctuary were carved cherubim and palm trees.
Okay.
Palm trees alternated with cherubim.
God really likes the cherubim. Remember, they were guarding his seat in
It's true.
the old temple.
And they were holding the flaming sword outside the Garden of Eden.
Right. Yeah.
So you can never go back in.
So God really entrusts them with some very things that are close to him.
They're the high arc.
Right. They seem to be very important to God.
They're like,
according to these people,
top dog angels.
Yeah.
Each cherub had 2 faces, as you do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But not 4 like the ones that Ezekiel saw earlier. That was whatever those were.
Those were some scary fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. The face of a human being toward the palm tree on one side and the face of a lion toward the palm tree on the other. They were carved all around the whole temple. Sounds Egyptian to me.
I mean,
pyramids and, fucking 2-faced dog lion people. From the floor to the area above the entrance, cherubim and palm trees were carved on the wall of the main hall. The main hall had a rectangular door frame, and the one at the front of the most holy place, capital letters, was similar. There was a wooden altar 3 cubits high and 2 cubits square. Its corners, its base, and its sides were of wood.
Got it. It does strike me, though, with regard to these visions of what angels look like and the carvings that they're putting in this temple and everything, that a lot of religions during this time frame were using very mythologically things that were very unique as far as they're definitely not human, but they are based on some type of human thing, but they incorporate animals and they incorporate just weird things that obviously are mythological or godlike, right?
They're like animal-faced humanoid things that also have wings and do strange shit.
And I was aware that it was present in, like the Greek and Roman gods, and I was aware that it was present in the Egyptian gods. But I wasn't as aware that it actually permeated into the Jewish and Christian culture.
Right.
But it does.
It does.
So that's just, it's intriguing to me that is there.
Well, that's why I'm like, oh, so this is Egyptian stuff, and you're pretending it's
when
Jewish.
You said that, it kind of jogged me into thinking that.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to reiterate that and say that out loud, that it does kind of go in with the other types of religions that are around in this time frame, sort of. So
they're like, stop worshiping other gods that we're incorporating into our religion.
Right.
Stop doing that idolatry that we're actually going to start carving ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, you. Yeah. I believe your sincerity.
Right.
You keep talking that shit. The man said to me, "This is the table that is before the Lord."
Okay.
Both the main hall and the most holy place had double doors. Each door had 2 leaves, 2 hinged leaves for each door.
Okay.
And on the doors of the main hall were carved cherubim and palm trees like those carved on the walls.
Amazing.
And there was a wooden overhang on the front of the portico.
Yeah.
Snazzy.
Yeah.
On the side walls of the portico were narrow windows with palm trees carved on each side. They love them some palm trees.
They did like the palm trees, apparently, yeah.
And not the pomegranates this time.
No, but the palm trees, yeah. And the other things that were, was it the almonds were very important? Or was it almonds?
Yes.
Yeah, because that was part of the Moses stick or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yep. The side rooms of the temple also had overhangs the end.
Ah. Wow. Okay.
Sick.
I really, there's really nothing to say about this chapter. It's fucking blueprints, you know? And there's not really, the only thing fun is that this temple has not been built, you know? So, and I did a little bit of searching while we were in the episode just to clarify some ideas. So there's a lot of people that think that it's a far off prophecy. It's not.
And that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what apologists would say.
So in the 25 years was something that was in that first, in the chapter 40 chapter, but that was when he gave the prophecy, not when he saw what was happening. So just to clarify, I did look that up. So it is, I guess, hypothetically, insofar as visions are concerned, it's a possibility that this just hasn't happened yet, I suppose. But
it's interesting that somebody hasn't said, nah, we're going to make this happen.
Well, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, wouldn't you just, like, make this prophecy come true? Why wouldn't you,
Yeah,
right?
check the box. There, done.
Yeah.
Another prophecy
God
proved
was correct.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But apparently it's just not that important to people.
I guess. Weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Ezekiel chapter 41.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that tomorrow we'll be back with
Ezekiel chapter 42.
All right. We'll see you then.